This is Blake Levine, and today I want to do an audiobook about depression. So when you are struggling with depression, almost anything can seem hard. Things that used to be common or easy to do can grow harder. Maybe waking up in the morning, getting yourself out of bed, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, even talking to those that are in your life can be more challenging. It can be hard to work. It can be hard to be creative. You can feel really down and dismal. And one of the hardest parts of living with depression is trying to find an answer, as we all would like to feel better right away. For some of us, it can take a very long time to heal. And what I found with depression is getting as much support around you is probably the key ingredient to surviving. This might mean finding a good therapist, finding a psychiatrist, joining a support group. Two of the best support groups I know of are called the Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance. They have a website at dbsalliance.org. There's also the National Alliance on Mental Illness at NAMI.org. Both of them are grassroots organizations that have local support groups in communities throughout the United States. And I've had the honor to do some talks at some of the local chapters, and what I find is there's people coming together that live with a mental illness. There's family members that have a child or a loved one that's struggling. There's groups, and NAMI does a walk each year to raise money, and it's a really encouraging and positive place to go if you are struggling with these problems. It's also free to be a member, and there's no need to have to pay a membership fee. I want to say also about depression that we can wonder if we can handle it. And I just want to say to you today that I believe God or a higher power wants you to get healthier and happier, that it may take time to rebuild, but I've seen people at the darkest points where they've said they can't even imagine living this way eventually get themselves calmer, happier, and less depressed. And that's the hard part for me with depression, is it tries to trick you and make you think that everything's always going to be as bad as it is. We can focus on failures that we've had or problems or issues, and it can seem so heavy, almost like carrying a 300 or 400 pound weight. But if we'll say, you know what, I'm not going to give up, I'm going to keep trying, we may end up finding some peace. And for those that live with depression, it's hard to explain to other people. Sometimes they want you to snap out of it, or they don't really know why you're not doing as much. But this is a real medical condition that people face, and to me it's one of the hardest that any of us can face, because we may want to do things or be productive, but we just can't. And in my own life, this has been a hard year. I faced depression and bipolar. I was in the mental hospital in January, and it was just a really hard journey. And I've learned that it's taking effort and energy to rebuild. I'm back in therapy, and I've been seeing my psychiatrist for medication. And I found that, even as a life coach supporting others, sometimes it's difficult for people to want to stay getting coached. They may, not have the energy or the effort. And what I've learned for myself is you just have to keep trying and keep going. You can't give up. You have to press on and press forward. And what's helped me a little bit is some of the numbers that there's over 350 million people that face depression, and it might even be higher. And that's a huge number. When I tell myself that I'm just one of 350 million, that this is a major problem that people all over the world face. It doesn't matter your age or your background or your ethnicity or your belief in a religion. There's so many of us that face depression, and I think that by sharing our knowledge and our lessons, we can make change. That's why I make my videos here, to teach and to inspire you. I have a book coming out called Depressed But Blessed. You can find it online on Amazon. It's coming out in January 2018. It's a great book teaching about depression and the lessons I've learned. I also do a life coaching program by phone. You can learn about it on my website. I work to help people and motivate them and give them some encouragement. And I pray for you today that life gets better, because it may have seemed hard facing depression, but there's always a chance to rebuild and a chance to grow. And I just want to say to you today, don't give up. Keep going on the road to rebuilding. And even if it's been hard, we don't know when some type of positive thing will happen. I pray for you that only positive, good things happen, and that you get on a path to feeling better. And thank you so much for watching.